Can you guys hear me okay? Can you hear me okay this time without the choppiness? Minus the echo of this room. Hope everybody's been doing well. Man, it's been a while. I've been looking forward to this and kind of getting back in the groove. And we'll talk about all that. Let me know down in the chat before we proceed forward. And looking forward to chatting with you guys. I've got a couple different microphones here, so if this one doesn't work for whatever reason, I don't know. Just trying to figure out the setup again ever since we moved everything. Loud and clear. Oh, thank you, Lord. Thank the Lord. Sweet. Okay, cool. Well, let's go ahead and get this party started. Man, I'm looking at this intro. How's everybody doing? The camera's over here. Hope everybody's had a great Monday. Hope you had an excellent weekend. We haven't even been on since Halloween and all that. I hope that was good for everybody out there. Anybody that's got a family, or if you're trick-or-treating on your own, hope it was fun. I mean, we did some fun stuff. I was just kind of off the beaten path of the whole screen printing thing. Kind of one of the things I've been doing lately. There's Apollo. One of the things I've been doing lately is I've been playing music again, and it's been a while, and I enjoy it. But it's also taken more than a year to actually get our first gig, and then we're supposed to have a gig August 30th. And they canceled that because the Houston Astros went to the World Series. So it's so conflicting because I love the fact that the Astros were in the World Series, but also I wanted to play. And Shannon was looking forward to it too. Speaking of Shannon, she's doing much better. She's not going to be going live with me tonight. And the main reasons are she still hasn't like really built her energy up. She's been to work. She's just kind of socializing with everybody. When I say everybody, answering the phone, getting back at things. Karen from Bagware, I think she's called in and had us do some artwork things for her. So she's very lively at the beginning of the day. I think she's kind of had a hard time sleeping here lately, but getting better, working on getting her energy back up and all that. So it's great to have her back. And I'm gonna go through and I'm gonna go to the chat and see what you guys are saying, and then we'll kind of move on. We'll talk about the business, everything that's going on with the business, and some of my own personal thoughts as to where should we go from here, given this entire year with everything that's been going on. Where do we go from here, and how has it affected the business as you guys are all entrepreneurs, or at least diving into that endeavor of being an entrepreneur? What happens when something like this comes up? Because health isn't guaranteed. Nothing is guaranteed. We've gone through COVID. We've gone through Shannon being completely ill. Something I have not talked about is my father getting colon cancer, like right around the same time, and he's been kind of struggling with that. So we're trying to, for me personally, I haven't been able to be there as much as I would like to be given the circumstances. I have 2 brothers, 3 stepsisters. We're almost like the Brady Bunch, minus the fact that we couldn't afford the nanny. So that's been a challenge all in itself. Um, and I wish I could. I keep in touch with them, but he's also has Alzheimer's, which is it's something that's just genetic in our family. My great grandfather had it. My grandmother had it, and now my dad has it. And it's tough. It's tough seeing him in that state. It's tough seeing. It was very tough seeing Shannon in the state that was she was in. You know, we all eventually get older, and he's been a working's man kind of thing, oil field, all that stuff, and so he's worked himself pretty hard, but he's doing better. The chemo that they gave him has helped a lot. Appetite back, all that stuff. He's still, you know, I could go over there and talk to him for 2 or 3 hours and then literally go to the kitchen and come back. And he's like, Matt, Big Daddy Matt, what you up to? And we'll have the same conversation over, which is hard. But so that's kind of how these past, since April, we moved the shop. And we're really looking forward to the growing things. Shannon got sick shortly thereafter. I got the news about my father, and you guys completely helped out big time when it came out to when it came to the GoFundMe. I'm not sure that we would have survived, but we're making ends meet. A lot of it has to do with the YouTube stuff and trying to keep on top of the business as much as I personally can. And so I know we've talked before. Mario kind of ducked out of the situation. Michelle's still around. Panda was here today, but he's, and I don't blame him. I think anybody that, especially in this day and age, with, and I think this has been part of the problem for our business, is the fact that all the prices are going up on everything. There's shortages. There's been health issues in which some clients haven't understood that, and I've been, for me personally, really trying to just not let it overwhelm me. I mean, it's been an overwhelming year. However, I've learned to just kind of be more patient and not let certain things overwhelm me. But there have been certain situations where it's kind of tipped my scale a little bit, and I probably didn't handle things as well as I could have. Given that, we'll talk about where we are business-wise, what my plans in particular, and Shannon's as well, she's still part of this, and the crew, what I would like to see go on, and then we'll take some Q&A questions, and I'm going to go to the chat now, and I'm going to just kind of do my what's ups to everybody. Ian, thanks for tuning in, man. Let's see, Dave Nell, good to know you're still going. I can hear you, no chop. Thank you, I appreciate it. Sorry I haven't gotten back to you sooner. We'll talk about that here in a second. A lot better, says Matt. Primal Graphics with the triple dap. Been a month of Sundays. Wait, since we went live, I don't know what that means. Let me know down in the chat. Little delay on the video, but we good. Yeah, I still, since we've moved things to Rybeat, since we've moved things to the shop, I haven't had a whole lot of time to just kind of really test things. Golly, my hair is just, it was freezing cold the other day, and now it's just humid, and my hair is doing weird things. Shannon, where's the brush? It was nice to get the kids out and see a lot of kids out this year. And I'm glad you brought that up because there's really been, I think things, in my opinion, there's things swinging towards normalcy that we haven't seen in a while. For us personally, when we went trick-or-treating, it was still somewhat normal. It wasn't like kids weren't out. I think with the whole trick-or-treating thing in a neighborhood, you're able to kind of keep your distance a little bit. And my personal opinions on the whole COVID thing is, I'm not going to allow it to make me feel afraid or not continue to live my life to a normal extent. I'm going to make things as normal as possible, even though this hasn't been a normal past couple of years. But we don't let that bother us. Let's see. Dave now going to the dogs already. Follow, yeah. Way to go, Shannon. Thank you, Ian. I appreciate that. It's definitely great news. I was hoping she could be on with me tonight, but again, I think she had a hard time sleeping last night, which, if she's up, I'm up kind of thing. But and we've talked about this. We were actually talking, Shannon and myself were talking about this. I think part of the thing as well, like we're trying to get back into the routine, and not only that, we moved from a situation where it was like so familiar and it was easy to set up. She's right there, and now I'm in this room, and I'm gonna grab the camera real quick. I'm in this room, and you see that kind of, it's not a one-way tent. It's kind of ridiculous, to be honest. So I've tried to get her in this room and us kind of do a thing, but she just kind of liked the previous setup. So I'm like, okay, I'll have to run some wires over to where her desk is at, which it's a very similar setup to what she had before. And I think I am going to accommodate that. It will be some work, but there's also a lot of things on my plate, and it's not necessarily... You better get your ass in here if you're going to be shouting from across the room. She's here, but for whatever reason, those are some of the reasons. It's not whatever reason. She kind of misses her own setup and talking about she don't want to hold a microphone and all that. I'm just trying to get things rolling, and it's just like, I don't want to do it kind of thing. I was like, okay.
That is untrue. That is untrue.
What's untrue?
I just don't like having to hold a microphone.
You want to come around and say hello to everybody? I've got to makeup. I've got a microphone for you.
I don't like the microphone.
It's not even plugged in. Here, we'll talk into this one. At least tell everybody hi. I'm going to turn this around. You don't have to be on camera. You want to be on camera? She's going back to the shop gnome mode. Look at Apollo there. He's not looking at a ghost. Here we go. All right, I'm going to swing this thing around so Shannon can say hello. I think you should at least say how you're doing. Talk a little bit.
I'm not dying. Hey guys, what's up? Thank you again for all your support and your understanding and like this, just everybody just wondering and worrying about me. Like I felt terrible about that, but at the same time it made me feel really, really loved. So thank you guys. I'm doing better. I'm doing a lot better. I get tired more easily, but at the same time, like I'm not, crying all day. Did you do it?
What? I was pointing the camera to Apollo.
Mm-hmm. Who is in front of me?
Oh, that is true. Apollo is in front of you. Look, it's muggy in here.
It's just you.
No, it's not. It's
Okay.
I was behind the
Alright.
press, okay?
Why would you ask me and then go, nuh-uh?
I'm just saying, I feel like it's muggy tonight. Our little cold front's kind of gone by. So I'm gonna go. There's been a lot of people that have been saying hello to you, and
Hi guys, love you.
not only in the stream right now, but just people in general, as I've kind of
I
been.
had no idea so many people liked me.
Oh, well, everybody loves you.
I had no idea.
T-Town t-shirts. Do you price your embroidery? I got me a Ricoma. Oh, that's awesome, dude. Coming soon. How do you price your embroidery? So, I mean, we kind of initially got pricing from other shops and just kind of saw what everybody was pricing in town. And so depending on where you live, you might want to, for one, what machine did you get? Because you might need to price accordingly. I think we probably could use some revision on our pricing. We've kind of been pricing things like, and I think this is true for any part of your business where you're adding something new, even though, like, let's say we got a single head, or when I first started, I was printing with a homemade wooden press that was a one color thing. I was still pricing things how competitors would do. So if you're new in the industry, then I would say kind of price it accordingly to the competition around town. I think we're kind of at a point towards where we've been really saying, no, this is our price. It doesn't matter if it's a single head embroidery machine or even with the screen printing thing. It's like, here's the price. Take it or leave it. Because at least in my mind, and maybe Shannon, maybe you might feel the same way, is we've kind of refocused things in the sense that we were taking in a lot to provide for do payroll for employees, which was Mario, Michelle, myself, and Shannon. And now that we've kind of retracted things back, and we still have a request like we do, and we try to squeeze in as much as we can, but it gets overwhelming. So we've raised our prices to the point towards where, and if someone's like, hey, can you give us a deal on this and that? No. Nope. And then that's the end of that. And there was someone that had replied and got pissed off. And was there F-bombs in the email, Shannon?
No, just a little bit.
Yeah. And then also, I mean, in the past, we've taken on some of the jobs where it's like maybe a couple dozen and a lot of screens, maybe 6, 7 colors, front and back, sometimes 8. And I've decided that it wasn't worth it. We hadn't been making enough money off that kind of stuff. So in other words, we increased our minimum on that kind of thing to like 72. If you want to come in and you need 6, 7, 8, 9 colors, then you need to be at the 72 piece kind of order thing. And so I've really kind of shift some of the focus towards where if you want a minimum of 12 or whatever it is, then we're like, okay, 3, 4 colors at the max. You get to 36, we'll entertain maybe 5. Really? Would you stop it? Do you want a micro? All right, so I feel like we're starting all over again with the very first stream where I'm getting on again. And Shannon is participating in her own way. She's going to sit on the floor and then watch. I guarantee you, next Monday, she'll be on camera, whether or not we get her situated across this glass.
I just don't
Well, there's changes. There's been changes. Okay? There's a lot of things that I don't like.
Yeah, but I've been the victim of a lot of these changes. Feel sorry for me and spoil me.
You spoil me? I could use a little spoiling.
I almost died.
Me too. Inside. I almost went in a coma. All right. So speaking of, this is a nice segue. Speaking of dying inside a little bit, so some of the things that we've gone through, Shannon being sick and all that, and then Mario just kind of ditching. A little bit about the whole screen printing update is the fact that, or screen printer, where we're trying to hire somebody and had some good accounts lined up. I say good in the sense that they were contract and they would send us as much as we wanted. And it's kind of been, this has kind of been the pace for the year, where we really realized that, and this is no offense to anybody that's watching or anyone that's that we've done business with in the past, is we needed things to be as easy as possible. And granted, I know everybody has deadlines and all that. We just kind of needed things to flow just as smoothly as possible. And what I mean by smoothly is not only the client coming to us and making it easy to understand, the less amount of communication. And I'm sure a lot of you guys, like, they sound like the ideal clients. Well, we have a lot of clients that I think we would consider ideal, and then there's some that where it's it's more tough to kind of really kind of extract what they need. And those tend to be the people that want the pricing to be the lowest, where Shannon and I were talking. I think it was maybe a Print Tavo blog or some crap, where it's, I'm spending $500 on you, and
my life story.
This is my life story. I'm gonna contact you 200 times, and even when you get finished with the order, there's still complaints. But then there's a flip side of things where it's, hey, here, at least for us, it'd be something, I'd say on average of a 3,000, maybe 1,500 on the low end kind of thing. Yeah, here's your money. Let me know when they're ready. I have no hard deadline. And there are hard deadlines when it comes to certain things. But, given everything that's gone on this year, it's been kind of a weeding process. It's like, how much, without Shannon's help here and trying to get the reins, and for the most part, it was me and Michelle for a long time. Panda was here to help out some, but it's not his passion, so it was more of a friendly gesture than I would say anything. But Michelle has been kind of in it to win it. Aside from she's a trooper. She needs. She's not quite at the stage yet where she will just take the reins. It's kind of like I could tell her to climb on top of the roof and feed the power cable from the the pole providing electricity, and she'd be like, okay, tell me where to be. Like, she's that kind of person where it's like, I'll do whatever you tell me. But it's also kind of been difficult for myself to get what I need to get done, and also delegate, here's what you need to do, kind of thing. So I think moving forward with the business, as Shannon gets better, when she's here and able to, she kills it on the phone. I don't really, um, I think, what just happened here? I don't even know what that sound was. I think that's the first. Let's see. Oh, we got a new subscriber, Patrick Garland. Thank you, Patrick Garland. Thank you for subbing. I appreciate that. That was the first time. What was the flash chimed off? I'm not T-Pain. They don't go off all the time. So just moving forward with the business is kind of like just getting. I think for us personally, I'm gonna go to the chat here soon. I know a lot of y'all have been commenting and all that stuff, and I want to interact with you guys. But it's been really kind of turning down the headaches and the things that normally we would kind of take in to just kind of keep the press going, kind of thing. To what, and it's not necessarily about who's easy to deal with, but I think we've been doing this long enough towards where we can sense that, oh, this person is going to be, right. So Shannon was saying more trouble than they're worth. In other words, they're going to be the deal seeker, the tire kickers. We want the minimal amount of cost and the best quality. And I think one of the things I've really been dealing with is they want to pay the least amount, they want the best quality, and they want it fast. Well, you're not going to get all three of those at once. If you want, and I wouldn't even say inexpensive, it's just the hagglers. Right? I'm going to haggle you from the price. We've seen what you can do, therefore I'm expecting the best quality, and I want it now.
Yeah,
well, you're not gonna get it now. You might, if you're gonna haggle us for price, I'm gonna take it as a project that doesn't have that much high of a priority. So I'm gonna get to it. And if you're calling every week to ask for updates, I'm in my mind, and this is part of where I think I'm learning a lot as a small business owner is, well, when's it going to be ready? And it's kind of the pushy, and you've already cut them a deal, and they want the best thing. And what I've learned is it's going to be ready when it's going to be ready. Had we not were you kind of easy to deal with, and you didn't even blink an eye at what we wanted, you're more of a priority because you're paying us well, and I can take my time to, and not necessarily time as in I'm going to take a long time to do it, but I know I'm getting paid well, there's less pressure off, and this is going to be more enjoyable. This is what I signed up for, to get paid well, enjoy what I'm doing, send it over, and they're happy. But when it's you're not price gouging us, you're being a tire kicker, you're trying to get a good deal. You already know the quality of work that we do, and you're wanting it fast. Well, yeah, and for less, then that's when it's like we gotta crap this thing out to make a living. But it's bitten us in the butt quite a bit here this year, because then there was one little pinhole here, and instead of 2 inches down from the collar, it was 2.5 inches down. And I wanted you to crap these things out as fast as you can, and I'm gonna haggle your price. And then when we get they get them, that's their complaints, and it's like, we delivered them. I honestly thought they looked pretty good, but you're nitpicking about these little things, and it turns into, excuse my French, a shit show of I think we did well. You asked for X, Y, and Z. We provided it. It doesn't mean that you're going to get, or probably let's say X, Y, but you're not going to get Z because you're pushing, you're pushing, you're pushing, you're calling, you're emailing, that kind of thing. And then this year there's been a lot of refunds. I don't think we made any profit this year. We've just kind of been paying the bills and plan. At least myself personally, just kind of planning ahead to kind of really sweep all that kind of, or not even entertain that kind of clientele. Speaking of, and this isn't a stab at anyone. This is just something that I personally have kind of learned over the year. Is we've done a lot of contract work and we've shared a lot of it. You probably have been like, "Hey, where's Matt been? Where's Matt been this year?" Aside from the complete understanding of Shannon's health situation and all that, but also there's been quite a bit of contract stuff where people have seen our episodes about we'll take in contract printing, but because even though we have more overhead and we don't have as many employees right now, it's been a kind of pick and choose kind of thing. And we initially weren't kind of like, no, we're not going to do contract printing, because it's always nice to have just kind of fill the calendar up. But with it mainly just being me on production, Shannon kind of being in and out, and Michelle being a Monday through Wednesday kind of part-time thing, I decided, and I think we have decided unanimously as a group that, it hasn't been worth the amount of headache. And there's been 3 clients that, these 3 clients, probably it had things been going smooth, we moved the shop, we're up and going, everybody was still in it. In other words, everyone, when we moved the shop, Mario not being here, also just, anytime I've kind of really reached out to new hires and all that kind of stuff, that nothing really worked out. And a lot of it just has to do with, I think those that did have some experience were really just looking to learn from me and then take what they've learned and go do their own thing, which I'm not going to spend the time to do that. However, if there were someone that wanted to be part of the team and were just focused to, it's not like if someone we came across, it's not like, hey, we're you're just an employee. If you can show me that you can help grow the business and you're motivated, and it's not just a 9-to-5 thing, and you put in the work, I'd be more than happy to negotiate something where we're all benefiting from it. Yeah, we definitely got lucky with Michelle, but we haven't come across that just yet, and I think we'll find that. I'm just not in a hurry to really pull the trigger on just anybody. I think we've kind of done that in the past, and it really hasn't worked out. So, thanks, Rye Beats. Yes, definitely hit that like button. It always helps the YouTube algorithm. I'm going to go to the chat real quick, and then I'll continue on with the discussion here, and I think that kind of there's a lot more I could dive into business wise as far as
300 emails is not normal.
Just some of the hits we've taken this year, but I want to talk about moving forward and with our current situation and adapting. And I think this, it could be helpful for you guys. Maybe we're not a huge company by any means. I think 4 people rocking and rolling, making a living was it's been pretty awesome. And it's kind of fluctuated between 1, 4, 1, 2, 3, that kind of thing. And in my mind, I want to keep that fluctuation down, but also there's things I want to do that's going to make me happy to come in, day out, and it not just be a complain fest. So I'm going I'm going to go over to the chat. NovaWorks Color Imaging, another local screen printer, has had record growth, just hit 1.6 million in the last 12 months and started less than 4 years ago. I think that is amazing. My only concern is when growth is that fast. Like say, for example, had we grown that fast and something really hard hit the business, there would be a lot of people out of work. It's not saying that they can't do it. Congratulations. I think that's great. But I personally wouldn't want to deal with that. That sounds stressful. That sounds stressful. Did I run over your foot? My bad.
Yes.
Shannon's laying on the floor. Waldo, how you doing, buddy? Hang out and we'll kind of tell you how we're doing. I'm sure you've heard quite a bit. Chewy Apparel, what's up from the north? Awesome. Are you talking about the north side of Houston, Texas, U.S.? You on the North Pole? But anyways, great to have you. Rybees question: live screen printing. How or what's the best way to price the customer? Is it per shirt or the estimated amount of attendees? I wouldn't say it's either, really. I'd say it comes down to how much time we're spending and what we need to make hourly to make a living. And then because it is somewhat of a special event, almost treating it like a wedding kind of thing, where if we're screen printing live for 2 hours, we're charging about $150 an hour for 2 people to be out there. So, and then plus the cost of the shirt, if they need design time on artwork. So the way we price live screen printing is we can do up to 4 colors. For us, that's 4 different designs. That's enough for the 2 of us. We can pack up a compact car with our setup, and it might take us about 2 hours to prepare and get to our location, set up. And if they want 2 hours worth of time, it doesn't really matter. There's been times that they've provided, and I don't think we've ever had to provide.
I've always made.
Okay, so Shannon's made them provide. So
Because I'm not taking.
right. So what she's saying, she's not taking that loss. So it's a you purchase the shirts, get as many as you think that you'll need. At the end of the day, you get to keep the shirts, and you're just paying us for the labor and our smiling faces and for our charm and knowledge. So
All of which I have in abundance.
All of which Shannon has in abundance, she says. And that's just really kind of how we price things. We've had gigs or quotes come up where it's like out of town, and we would factor in, if we're not here at work, what are we losing out on not being able to produce? So we take that in account. Hotel, food, driving, Uber, whatever the case may be. So it's just, what do you need to make? Well, what are your costs, and what do you need to make? And I'll say this: what I've learned over the years, it's not about, okay, here's our overhead, and where we work 8 hours a day, and here's what we need to charge per hour. It's not like that. It's more of, here's our overhead costs, and how many hours of the day are we actually behind the press and shirts are coming out? What percentage? How many hours? So let's say we needed to make $75 to $80 an hour out of an 8-hour day. We're probably on the press cranking stuff out. In our situation, for us as our particular shop, 2 to 3 hours. That's when the press is actually moving. It might even be less than that, because we're doing a lot of setup, going back and forth, test printing. How many hours is the press producing shirts that are making you money? And that $75 an hour might end up being, you might need to make $275 an hour while that press is moving. So that's how we're, in my mind, that's how we should be pricing things. And not only that, it's not all about how much you need to be making per hour while the press is going, but there's also little things like, how long are you spending emailing? How long is it taking Michelle to produce art, do film, and all that crap? So there's little things where it's like, not all three of us are working in tandem, so it doesn't. That's where you can kind of fine tune things. But yeah, so I want to talk about something here in a moment. I'm going to go over to the chat. Jose Lopez says, "Hi everyone." Did we talk about? I'm sorry if I think I touched. I'm sorry. T-Town T-shirts. Depending on with your embroidery, again, we priced around, but also I think it would be smarter of us to price it based on, and if we can get people to pay it, priced on how long does it actually take? I mean, because if we're running the machine at 600 to 800 stitches an hour, or excuse me, a minute, what do we need to be making? Or maybe Michelle's running the thing. She's been running the Recoma more than I have lately. Running the Recoma, and what do you need to be making? All going back to the that machine might be running 5 to 10 minutes for a cap, a sweatshirt, a polo, but how much time are you spending setting everything up and that thing isn't running? Consider that. Digitizing as well. I mean, we charge $50 for digitizing. These days we're digitizing everything ourselves, so we're not paying to outsource any of that stuff. And I know that's not a straightforward answer. It's not some sort of math equation. I guess if I were to put it in a math equation, what's your cost? How much you need to be making an hour? And during processing that job, how much of processing that job, how much of that time are you actually embroidering? and then kind of factor that cost. What do you need to make an hour? Are you running it 10, 15, 20, 30, 35% of the time during that job? It'll help you price per piece. How can learn t-shirt stamp design? Well, you can go over to YouTube and look up Mikey Designs and Silkscreen. And we have a lot of videos if you want to learn how to silkscreen. There's also other great channels out there. The other is Mikey Designs and Silkscreen. That one's pretty awesome. The guy, I don't know what it is, but that guy seems like he's been in the industry for a while. Especially, I'm not going to say that about Mikey. I'm not going to say that about Mikey. Okay. Honestly, watch videos. We have plenty of videos. There's lots of other educators out there. Catspit, Ryanette. Although I would say that, you know, find someone that is easy to learn from and that you kind of relate with, really. There's Rybeats, there's T-Shirt Chick, Lee Stewart has some cool stuff. Cam from The Print Life, I think I might have mentioned that. But, you know, it all kinds of comes down to how much time are you actually looking, like going through all these videos, which kind of brings me to, I think is a great segue to one of the things I'm working on currently, and you'll see coming up in hopefully 2022, is if you're learning or wanting to learn how to screen print, you're kind of, and I think a great example is Wayne from Orange Star Printing found us on YouTube, has come over, and I've helped him kind of, I have a question. And we'll work. He sends us work, and I'll give him advice and whatnot. And it's mainly not on the business side, but mainly on the decorating side when it comes to screen printing. Is how do I problem solve this? What we are as screen printers are problem solvers, and sometimes there might not be a solution. If depending on the person and what they're wanting, and maybe bit off more than you can chew, I'd say. So what I was getting at is one of the things I want to do, and it's going to take some time, is to put together a curriculum towards where you're not having to search around, because it took me maybe 3 years to really, I think, find or answer all of my questions when it comes to screen printing. And I think what I was getting at with Wayne is the fact that we were screen printing shirts. He came over and had some blowouts to do, and had blowout fluid in the blowout gun. And it was just kind of getting rid of some pinholes. He's been screen printing for I think 3 years at this point, maybe even 4. And he's like, "Hey, what are you using in your blowout gun? Is that water?" I'm like, "No, it's blowout fluid. It's basically acetone. You could go down to AutoZone and get you some acetone. It works just the same." He's like, "What? Really? I thought it was just water." And Shannon and I remember that we like looked at each other and we're like, "No, that water is going to ruin your gun. It'll lock that thing up." So what I'm thinking of doing is putting together a curriculum. And part of some of the things, and here in the past, I've and I will continue to in the future, is having free tutorials, just putting out free knowledge, answering some of your questions here. But, you know, as time goes on, I've realized, we need to be able to make a living. And that's part of the reason why some of the absence has been. It's because I've needed to go where the money is during these times. And even going where the money is, it hasn't, I can't say it's necessarily been the most fulfilling thing. And I want to get back into, ideally, I would love to screen print and do like screen print projects that make me happy. They're not super stressful. There's things I'm excited about, and that hasn't been the case, which is why we've kind of dropped some of our contract clients, because it's high volume, low pay. And if you booger one thing up, you could be the greatest person in the world, but if you miss a deadline or there's a misunderstanding, doesn't even have to be you boogering things up. It could be, here's this order, I'm sending it to you today. We need these 250 shirts by the end of the day, and I want them to be the best quality, and it's 250 shirts, and I'm paying you $350. And it's like, you know what? I'll get the 3 screens ready. We'll crank them out, and we'll make our $150 an hour or whatever it is we need to make while we're on press. Done. Bag it and tag it. Oh, well, because we pushed you on that, the client's not happy with it, and we want you to soak up a $3,000 cost. No. So what I was getting at is I've kind of been directing things towards where, and Rye Beats, I think Rye Beats, if you guys haven't seen, I'm going to go over to the screen recording here, and hopefully I can get to it a little sooner than, let's see here. But I've really kind of had to refocus and recenter myself on things that make me happy, because there's been a lot of things. One of the reasons I got into screen printing is the fact that I wanted to print t-shirts for myself to sell, and that turned into, hey, I saw you printed these shirts, can you print for us? I'm like, heck yeah, because ideally you're trying to make money, and you learn a new skill, and you're like, this is making me happy. Well, I think it kind of got to a point towards where it was projects that I couldn't share. It wasn't fulfilling my creativity, in the sense that I wasn't able to upload YouTube videos, or it wasn't anything I was super stoked about. Even if it was even if I wasn't super stoked about it, I at least enjoy kind of sharing my work. But there's been a lot of hush hush, you can't talk about this stuff. One of the things was I had an opportunity, and it still might be on the table, to contract print for, we had 2,500 shirts that someone wanted me to help with and partner up with. And it was the Houston Astros World Series winners. Like, even before they win these things, they print hundreds of thousands, and it's an outfit from Florida, buddy of mine, and I couldn't take it on. Like, it wasn't worth it. As cool as that seemed, and as stoked as I was for the Astros to be in the World Series, it was too much. So kind of going back to my roots kind of thing here. One of the things I've been doing on the side is I've been waiting, because of COVID, 16 months to work on this car project. There's 3 things. I say there's all right, I'm going to say there's 3 things that make me happy in life, and that's doing art, being creative in some sort of way, playing music, and working on cars. And Shannon says, and me. I mean, that's a given. You come before all three of those things. But what I'm saying is, as a individual, I these are the three things that kind of make me happy. And you can go over to my personal channel. That's my name, Matthew Chevalier. My name's not Mikey. That was a nickname that was given to me as a kid. And Matthew Chevalier is kind of, I couldn't really find a way to play on that when it comes to screen printing. And so if I go over to the videos, and this is something where I want to encourage you guys as screen printers, not only to, why did you get into screen printing? Was it just the money? And money's not exactly the end to all happiness. What's going to make you happy is doing things that you enjoy, and in turn that making you money. Well, that's how I got into screen printing. It made me happy, and then there's a certain point towards where it's just like, this is nuts. This isn't making me the happiest person. I'm actually helping people fulfill, even though it's a dream to have a business and to scale it to the size that we have. I can't necessarily say that it completely fulfills that part of why I started screen printing, which is, I wanted to print t-shirts for myself or whatever, and it was car based. And so what I was getting to is, before I started the whole Mikey Designs thing, I had all these videos up on this channel right here. There's things that are actually hidden that you can't see here. And it's music stuff. And I decided to separate all those things. The first separation was Mikey Designs, and I saw a pretty awesome response. I mean, there's been an awesome response to this as well, but I mean, it's so much easier to, do an order of t-shirts than it is to build a car for years and years and years. So what I'm getting at is the fact that this has kind of made me happy, and I've seen the growth with it. But also, go over to Instagram. Check it out. Over on Instagram, I've got a t-shirt design that I created. One of my very first videos that kind of went viral on Mikey Designs is my brother's t-shirt design. This is 5 years ago, and we have a history of family racing cars. We've always just been into cars. That's the one thing I could connect with all of my family members. None of them played music. None of them were into art. I mean, they doodled a little bit, but we could all agree on one thing. It's almost like every religion can agree on chicken. That was our chicken.
What?
Shannon says, what? But this video here, it's just like, I learned how to do it. I was like, well, let me post this up. And this was during a difficult kind of time in life, but I came back later and 3,000 subscribers. I was like, oh, okay, well, maybe there's something to this. And you can even go back and look at some of my videos. I've got an engine sitting in my garage, motorcycle outside. And I shifted a lot of my focus to just growing the business because it was bringing in extra income, and then it became my full-time income, which has been awesome. It's been awesome, but it's also strayed a little bit towards the point where it's like there's certain things that jobs I've taken in where it's not like it's making me the happiest. So one of the things that I've done, aside from creating that, just kind of putting some more content out car-wise, because it's kind of been a little bit of a decompressor, because there's no one to tell me what to do, when it needs to be done. I can take my own pace. It's been very therapeutic, and have kind of been patient on this whole project for a year and a half almost. But I've also created, I think for the first time in a long time, some designs for myself. And you guys, go over and check it out, because I'm going to screen print this design, walk you guys through every single little detail of how I go about screen printing this. So if you want to get in on purchasing a shirt, what I'm doing is I will be screen printing these shirts, and you will see the results. It's something that I feel, we're not screen printing these shirts and then putting them up for sale, which would be cool, but we, as a small business, we've never really, it's never really been it's never seemed really wise to just, we're going to buy 100 shirts, screen print them, and then here's the results for sale. And it might be a good idea. Maybe it might entice you guys to want to check out our work. And plus, it also it supports us as a small business, and it keeps us happy doing stuff that we love. So go and check that out. Some of the other things that I have been working on here recently is I'm just about finished with action steps, and I actually created a page that one person found that I did not, it's published, but I'm not sure how they came across it. But they pre-ordered action steps, and I don't even know how to get to it anymore, to be honest. And it's because I had a funnel all set up on the website. Hopefully I'm not ranting on and you guys can't see this. Okay, you can't see it. But so that's something I've been working on finishing up. It's almost ready. I've been testing it and testing it and testing it, making sure it's gonna work like I promise it will. I mean, it has worked for us, but I'm wanting it to be as simple as possible. Recording videos for it as well. So you'll see that before the end of the year. I was trying to find the page, but I had it set up in a way that I really wasn't kind of pleased with. And so just keep an eye out for that. There's also things that I want to toss out there for free. This is one of the things that I want to toss out there for free. And I spent quite a bit of time on this, and this is a pricing sheet where you can go in there and use this as a little bit of a helper to, if you're just starting, or maybe even if you're an established business. I mean, we use this thing often. These aren't our current prices, but hey, what's your pricing? Here's our pricing. That doesn't include the price of a t-shirt, kind of thing. So this is also something, an Illustrator that I want to share for you guys, but I need to put it up towards where you guys can download it and all that stuff. It takes time. And there's other things that I've been kind of considering. Like I was talking about before, if you have a lot of questions, having a curriculum, putting together a class, and because that will take a lot of time and effort, and there's going to be things that I need to film that I have yet to address, particular details, and maybe even on the business side of things, to put it all in a collective place. And it just, maybe it's $10 a month, and you could, to your heart's content, go through this curriculum and learn things based on from start to finish, and some of the details you need to pay attention for. And there's I'm sure there's things that, you know, you could miss, kind of like Wayne putting water in his blowout gun, you know? So that's something I want to work on. And then, you know, just kind of putting regular stuff up, vlogging, tutorials, you know, advanced typography tutorials, some design tutorials. There's one thing that, and let me know down in the comments if it is something you're interested in. And this is actually something I was thinking about doing. I couldn't necessarily go through because I needed to really be conscientious of how I'm spending my time. It's like, how did I end up producing the design? You'll see on Instagram. Go over to Mikey Design Silkscreen, and how do I pull my or inspiration? Where do I get my inspiration from? How do I go about designing something like well, what I just showed you guys, really? Where's it at? MC2. No, those are caps. No, not that. Jeez, where's it at? Oh, that's maybe it's under the t-shirt. There we go. So, you know, how do I go about producing this? Like, what's the thought process behind that? I would love to do some more of the 3 and 4 hour tutorials, but it's hard to these days. So let me know down in the comments if you'd like a little bit of a breakdown on how it illustrated the car. What was the thought process behind the layout? All that jazz. So I'm going to go over to the chat. It's 8 o'clock, and ranting or not, I mean, I just, there's still a lot that I would like to talk about, but that's just kind of skimming things. Just kind of skimming some of the things that's been going on here lately. 15.0 TC. That's an awesome one. That's the one that we have, works very well. How can I? Okay, what's up, Matt? Master Graphics. Tommy, how you doing? Shannon's doing. She's doing well. She's actually sleeping on the floor right now. You good down there? She's okay. She's not feeling super hot right now. Could you do a video on simulated spot process, which will go for both dark and light garments? I actually did a video like that. Go over to the channel, and it has a picture of me down by the pallet with a light and black t-shirt, Dickinson. So go check that out. I remember the days when I was one that says she should have never went on to keep it a secret. I must have missed something. Nice to see Shannon doing better. Thank you. Let's see, a couple videos made already. Thanks, Matt. Thanks for answering that. Do you get all your work via word of mouth? I have a small online Etsy store and sell on eBay, and find it hard to get enough sales to make it realistically viable as a business. Annoying. A big part's word of mouth. Word of mouth goes a long way if you make someone happy. Also, I think this is Moody Edge. This is part of where I'm wanting to put together somewhat of a master class on what to do in some of the things we've done in order to grow our business. And I'll touch on some of them really quickly. Is make sure you have a Google business listing up, some good pictures. A website is huge. Look in the search engine optimization for that, or hire someone that knows how to do that. Myself, I've having a graphic design background. I learned some of that stuff early on. And then social media, attack social media as hard as you can. One of the best pieces of advice, and something she kind of came across, was put your energy into the things that are working. And one of the things has actually been YouTube for us. It's helped spread the word, but also it's not going to be, you're not going to see it overnight. It's going to take some time. I've even tried ads in the past, and ads have actually worked and has landed us some pretty awesome jobs and clients that we have to this day. A lot goes into growing a business, but just keep at it. I know that you would like it to just pick up, but it just takes time. It sucks, but it doesn't necessarily suck. It's an adventure. It's an adventure is what it is, and it's all part of the journey. And we're still on that journey. We're still figuring it out. But those were some of the things that helped us out: word of mouth, Google business listing, website, post on it constantly, post everywhere constantly. Post. The more stuff you're shooting out, the more it's like the internet is pointing towards you, and people are going to be like, "Oh, okay." And there's a point where businesses, even ourselves, where it's just like, okay, we're so busy not trying to get clients in. We have clients, and when things kind of slow down, we'll work on putting more stuff out. Been a while since I've been on a live. Welcome, Ruel Maxwell. Thanks for joining us. I know it's been a while. We're working on getting back into the routine. Customers always right, except for when they which is ain't that the truth? You know, I was watching something a little earlier today, and something that kind of hit home was like, someone has a couple shirts that, or it's like, oh, the seams are coming apart, and it's a couple shirts, and I want you to send me more shirts, or kind of like some of the things we've gone through this year, and just in general is, someone orders some shirts and they're like, oh, well, this isn't the quality, or not necessarily the quality. There's some sort of complaint, like the nitpickers, where it's like, oh, okay, well, you're not happy with them, then send them back and we'll reprint it. And I'd say 50% of the time that shuts them up, because they've already sold them. Anyhow, Moody means you connect with your community and they support you. Moody, I love turning down clients when you can hear the questions they bring up. Yeah, I'd say client-wise, just use your best judgment. If you're gonna get along and all that, then thank you, Rye Beats, for the hit the like button. You in a band, bro? Says Patrick Brennan. Yes, I am. I've actually have been playing guitar since 1994 and playing semi-professionally since 2005, 2006. Actually making money at it. But I'd say 2017, I really put that on the back burner in order to grow the screen print business. And I've missed it. I've played on and off over the past couple, 2 or 3 years, maybe once, twice a year. But I'm looking forward to getting back in it, because it's a lot of fun, and I can well at the guitar. Maybe I'll show you one of these days. Let's see. Leonardo 29098, what's up? How are you doing, buddy? Thanks for joining us. Inksational, I'm late. The last time I caught one of your live, Shannon wasn't feeling well. She was feeling well. Now she's kind of laying on the floor. So I'm gonna wrap this up here because she's need to get out of her and get her to bed. Let's see. This is where 8 or 12 head helps. You're absolutely right about that. Tiano Inc. is pretty good too. Yes, Tiano, I think he's awesome. Definitely very inspirational, even to myself. Love what he's doing. Eddie Nels, that's me. Money can't buy happiness. Absolutely, I agree. It cannot. You know, and that's something that I think just in society we think that we gotta make all this money. We've got to have the big house, car, all that stuff. You know, if you're kind of stuck in a corporate America kind of thing where they're paying you well, but you're miserable, but the money's keeping you there, then I recall seeing years ago this graph, someone talking about here's your lifespan. Let's say you on average 75 years. The first 15 to 18 years you're not working, but from 18 to 60, let's say 65, you know, that's a huge chunk of your life where most of your time you're spending working. And if you're miserable doing it, then do something that's going to make you happy, because money isn't everything. That's a big chunk of your life. And which is part of the reason I got into this. And here lately, there's been a lot of things that I'm changing to make me happier, and I think everybody else happier. Shannon says, if you're happy, I'm happy. And likewise. How do you make a small fortune in racing? Start with a big fortune. There's a lot of truth to that. I'd say I've never gone to the extent that my family has with racing. They would spend $25,000 and then maybe make $4,500 back with in the year. But for me, it's about projects and then achieving personal goals without breaking the bank, kind of thing. Novo Imaging, 15 to 20. Let's see. No, Novo Works Color Imaging, 15 to 20 a shirt is better than 6 to 8. Absolutely. If you can find a way to, and it's kind of going back to a clothing line kind of thing. I think Orange Star's kind of figured out a good formula, and that's his own personal recipe. However, if he wants to maybe come on Orange Star's gone full-time screen printing. So go over and or just tell him congratulations. I think it's awesome. It probably maybe he wanted to. Oh, that's his business. I'm not going to say anything. Full-time screen printing, and he's been absolutely killing it. There's certain things that he's doing where I'm like, wow. He's got some pretty innovative thinking there. But while I haven't seen you in a while, I hope you and Shannon are doing better. 3D Wonder, I appreciate it. We're hanging in there. If you're just tuning in, go back and kind of listen to it. Might seem like a lot of ranting, but I think there's some valuable information when it comes to running your own business and staying happy within running your own business. But I am going to get out of here, guys. Shannon's starting to kind of feel not so hot, and I need to eat. So thank you for tuning in. Be sure to keep an eye out, and I know I've said this plenty of times. Be sure to keep an eye out for upcoming videos and all that. I do plan on getting into it harder. So just be patient, and it's all about finding that love and kind of balancing some of these things that I enjoy doing. And one of the main things I enjoy doing is creating artwork that I like, getting paid to do for a living, and the community around it, you guys. And as you know, family comes first, and right now, I'm not sure I'm putting Shannon first because she's on the floor, miserable. So